Most people believe you teach yourself how to get rich by learning more about money. Would you believe me if I told you that getting rich had very little to do with more books, more videos, more investing strategies, or more information about money in general? Well, let me ask you this. If information teaches people how to get rich, why are so many financially intelligent people still broke? Hello. Maybe learning how to get rich has less to do with how much information you can collect and more to do with what your own decisions are teaching you every day. In fact, I'm almost 100% certain each one of you know enough to teach yourself about money. Come on, say it with me. Save more, spend less, and invest. Done. But we know it's not that simple. If you hang with me, I'm going to show you exactly how it works so you can absolutely teach yourself how to get rich. Because whether you realize it or not, you're already teaching yourself something about money. You've been doing it your entire life. Unfortunately, many of us have been teaching ourselves how to be poor. But we're going to fix that today. The question is, why aren't you teaching yourself how to get rich? And if you're not, what are you teaching yourself to become? Mrs. Stacker asked me a great question the other day. She asked me which pillar of the Stacker's Bridge is the most important when it comes to building wealth. I told her it was kind of like asking me which of our kids is the most important. Now listen, y'all, just take my advice. Don't do that. That's not a good thing. But I actually gave her two answers. The first answer was actually really easy. The most important pillar is whichever one is currently your weakest. But the second answer I gave her led us into a much deeper conversation. I told her that hidden inside the Stacker's Bridge is a process that is constantly teaching you who you are financially. It absolutely determines whether your beliefs grow strong or weaker, whether your behaviors become activated or remain trapped inside of good intentions, whether each financial decision builds upon the last one, or whether you keep finding yourself back starting at the beginning, trying and starting over and over again. And once you understand this process, you will realize that getting rich is not only about learning what wealthy people do, it's also about learning how to produce the behaviors, the demonstration, and the evidence that teach you to believe you are capable of doing it. That is how you teach yourself how to get rich. And I'm going to show you exactly how it happens. But you already know what I have to do. I have to do it real quick. What is good, Stackers University? It's so good to have you here with me today. You know what I need, those hypes, those likes, and the comments. In order to answer the question, I have to pull back the curtain a little bit onto something that I don't normally go into very much because it's really contained inside our educational work. But by the end of this video, you're going to understand what actually has to happen for you to teach yourself how to get rich. Here's the best part. The lessons are already inside of you, actually. I'm going to show you this in a way that I just don't think anyone has ever shown you before. And once you see this process, you actually can't unsee it. Y'all ready for me to start teaching you how to make yourself rich? Okay, by now, most of y'all have seen this Stacker's Bridge and its 7 pillars: identity, beliefs, desires, expectations, system, habits, and momentum. Usually the first question I get is, well, what about behavior? Why isn't behavior one of the pillars? Hold on to that question. We're going to come back to that. These are not 7 random personal finance topics I threw together because they look good on a graphic. They are developmental. Each pillar helps create the conditions needed for the next, and every pillar continues while you cross. It's not like you lock in your identity at 100% and then you move forward. You bring every pillar with you on your journey, for better or for worse. You can make great money, but without systems, that money can disappear. And you can have great, strong systems, but with weak expectations, that can cause you to abandon them the moment life gets difficult. One weak pillar can slow down your entire financial life. By the way, this is why I created the free Where Am I Stuck guide. It walks you through all 7 pillars, and it helps you identify which one you may need to focus on or what needs the most attention right now. The link is in the description, and the only thing it costs you is your time and your attention. It's my gift to you. While we're talking about this, let me share another lesson you have to teach yourself. I like to call it capacity versus capability. Most people think wealth is primarily a capacity problem. I need more income or more time or more opportunity. And sometimes you do need more capacity. I'm not going to deny that. But capacity is simply what you have available. Think about it like having a 10-gallon gas tank in your car. Capability is different. Capability is how effectively you use those 10 gallons. So 2 vehicles can both have a 10-gallon tank. One travels and only gets 170 miles, and the other travels and gets 500 miles. They both have the same capacity, the same 10 gallons, but very different capabilities. It's like driving a Tahoe versus a Prius. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The same thing happens with money. Two people can earn the same salary and create completely different lives with it. One person turns income into obligations, the other turns income into options. That takes me back to something Dr. Jackson taught me more than 30 years ago. It's never how much you make, it's how much you spend. And here's the part most people don't like to hear, but more capacity without greater capability make your inefficiencies more expensive for you. Hello, let me say that a little differently. More money without better wealth building skills can simply just make your lifestyle more expensive. So the real question is not only how do I get more money, it's also how do I become more capable with what I already have. That is what the second answer I gave Mrs. Stacker was really about. And that is how we arrived at this idea of teaching yourself how to get rich. Becoming wealthy is not just about increasing your financial capacity. It's also about increasing your ability to believe, expect, act, and follow through at a higher level. True wealth builders have taught themselves how to become increasingly capable with the money, the businesses, and the wealth building activities they engage in. They literally teach themselves how to get rich. During your journey across the bridge, every step and at every stage, it all teaches you something about money. But more importantly, it teaches you something about yourself. Hidden inside the Stacker's Bridge is a self-reinforcing process I call the BDE loop. And this is where behavior finally becomes a part of the journey. The BDE loop has an internal side and an external side. And I'm going to show it to you in pieces so it doesn't become overwhelming to have everything on the screen at once. It starts with your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your desires shape your expectations, and your expectations shape what you do next. That is the internal BDE. It is not until after expectations that behavior actually appears. Why? Because behavior is an expression of what you expect. That is why another tactic usually doesn't solve the real problem. Most of us already know the tactics. If information alone made people rich, everybody watching personal finance videos would already be wealthy, but they're not. There is almost nothing harder to do than something you expect to fail at, and almost nothing easier to do than something you expect to succeed at. Let's go back to the example I've used multiple times about a best-selling book. How long would it take you to write a book about penguin migration? Be honest. Some of y'all would still be researching penguins 3 years from now. But what if I told you with 100% certainty that you would make $10 million in 1 year from that book? How long would it take you to write the book then? A whole heck of a lot less time. But why? You didn't suddenly become a better writer or care more about penguin migration. You did not gain any more hours in the day. The biggest difference was your expectations showed up in drag, dressed as certainty. And suddenly, you started to perform. With all your behaviors necessary to get that book written quick, fast, and hurry would absolutely show up, and you would do it. Now, let's move to the external side of the loop. Since we've been pole dancing around it anyway, your behaviors create a demonstration. That demonstration shows whether the behavior worked, and the result becomes evidence. Then the loop closes because that evidence travels back and strengthens or replaces the beliefs that started the process. Let me show you the full diagram. The internal side of the loop drives your behavior, and the external side produces evidence that shapes what you believe next. Many of us focus on a negative evidence that we experience in life. Because something didn't work in the past, we decide that it won't work for us now. We basically silently quit on ourselves. That negative evidence teaches us what to believe the next time, and then the loop keeps going. The good news is that loop itself is not positive or negative. It is simply a process. The meaning you attach to that evidence actually matters more. There is a major difference between saying, I'm bad with money, and saying, I'm getting better with money starting now. When you believe you are bad with money, your desires change and your expectations drop. You expect not to succeed, so you avoid, you delay, you make half-hearted attempts, and you quit as soon as something becomes uncomfortable. That behavior creates a demonstration. The demonstration produces a result that you use as evidence. And just like that, you are back inside the see, I knew I was bad at money loop. This is where you begin to actually teach yourself how to get rich, not with stock selection or a new investment or another newfangled budget tactic. You teach yourself how to get rich by changing the internal loop that eventually becomes the external loop, which is the representation of what is happening inside of you. Now, let's flip that. Maybe you don't have strong belief that you can actually build wealth. I get that. Been there, done that, and I've got the war rooms to show. But maybe you can begin with, I can save $100. Why is that important? Because that small belief is actionable, and the goal is small enough for your expectations to rise just enough for you to act. You move $100 into saving. That is the behavior. The behavior demonstrates that you can follow through one time. That demonstration becomes evidence that you are capable. And then you do it again and again and again. And after enough laps are through this loop, your beliefs begin to shift. You begin believing you can make different decisions with money. You begin believing that you can keep a promise to yourself. You gain confidence. That stronger belief raises your future expectations. And those higher expectations make the next behavior more likely. Then the loop keeps going and it keeps getting stronger. And that is how you start to teach yourself how to get rich. Not by staring into a mirror and repeating something that you don't believe. Not by listening to another motivational speech. You teach yourself by creating behaviors that become demonstrations and allowing those repeated demonstrations to become evidence. Now, let's focus for a moment on evidence, because this is one reason wealthy people often say getting rich is a mental game. They have accumulated successful evidence, so they enter new financial decisions with a stronger loop than they had before. When you hear me talk about evidence, I want you to think about it like a courtroom. Evidence helps determine whether someone is guilty or innocent, and the judge makes the determination. In your financial life, you are the judge. Behavior makes the case. Demonstration is the courtroom, and evidence creates the verdict. And your previous verdicts become precedent for how the next case gets handled. One major difference between the rich and poor is financially, their thinking is their precedent. A wealthy person may approach an opportunity with evidence that says, I've done this before, so I can do it again. I've survived mistakes before, so I'll be okay. The expected verdict is already tilted in their favor because they have taught themselves what they are capable of. That expectation changes how they behave. Their money is compounding, but so is their evidence. This is also why I don't reduce wealth building to whether you buy a $5 coffee or not. Skipping one coffee will not make you rich. Packing your lunch one time will not create generational wealth. But the decision still matters because the behavior becomes a demonstration. And that demonstration creates evidence that you are capable of making a different choice. It's all about the proof. It's about teaching yourself that you are capable and can do this. The financial value of one small decision may be minor in terms of dollars and cents, but it is developmentally invaluable. And the value can be even larger than we even anticipate. Every small win is a demonstration that creates evidence, and that evidence begins teaching you what to believe and expect from yourself next. You don't teach yourself to get rich by starting at $1 million and hoping that somehow you become the person capable of reaching it. You begin with $100, and then you add a zero, and then another zero. And every zero grows your money, but at the same time, it's also growing your capability. Creating evidence is only the beginning. One good decision doesn't create a habit, and one successful week doesn't mean you have all the momentum to keep going. And one small win can disappear. There's nothing protecting that. So I want you to come back for tomorrow's video, because I'm going to show you what happens after evidence, how systems protect new behaviors long enough for them to become habits, and how habits create momentum, and the pivotal point where you begin operating more like a wealthy person even before your bank account says that you are rich. That is where the right side of the bridge really comes alive. In the comment section, what is one tiny financial win you can create this week to give yourself better evidence? Do you need to work on the internal or the external BDE loop? Or you can simply put an A plus in the comments if you want to show me some love, or if you just want everyone to know that you always stack smarter and never stop learning.